What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I typically edit my LSPDFR videos in Sony Vegas Pro 14. I thought some of you guys might be interested in this, so I was like, what the heck, let's make a video about it. So we're just going to get right into it. So the first thing I do is import my game footage and the audio into Sony Vegas. So as you can hear, there's no commentary. That's because I record my mic separately in Audacity. That way I can make changes to just my voice and clear up the audio, make it sound better. Because if I recorded my mic with Shadowplay, it would be mixed. The game and voice would be mixed, and I wouldn't be able to edit my voice exclusively. So first thing I do once I'm done recording is I click stop recording, obviously, and then I add some bass. So I have a filter here. It's a bass filter that I tweaks and makes my voice nice and bassy. So I apply that. Okay guys, so the bass filter just finished applying, and as you can see, the areas where I'm not talking, they got a little bit fuzzy. So I want to remove that. So what you do is you just highlight a part of the audio that you don't want, and then you go to noise reduction and click get noise profile. And what that does is it gets the profile of the noise that you want to remove. And then after that, you select the whole track and just click OK, and it will remove that noise from the whole track. Okay guys, so that just finished, and as you can see, it's pretty much flat. In most of the areas, it's not perfect, but it does a really good job at getting rid of that background static. And there's one more step that I have after that. And as you can see, a lot of the areas here, they're peaking. The mic is peaking. It's too much. Sometimes, when I'm yelling, I'm sure you can tell which parts I'm yelling in, because it goes from little small things like this to massive jumps. So I have to compress the audio, and the settings for compressing are always different. Depending. Yeah, I was yelling a lot here apparently. So anyways, I'll show you guys. So compressor. Usually the threshold is set to like 15 to 17, but since my mic is a lot closer to my face now, I have to pull it back a little bit. So for this video, 20 was good. I'm actually rendering this video right now, so that's why it's taking a long time for these things to apply in Audacity, because my processor is at 100%. But after this is finished, I'll show you guys what the end result looks like. Alright guys, the compression just finished, and as you can see, it's a lot more, calm now. I guess you could say it's not going to rape your ears when you listen to it in the video. So after that's finished, I export the audio just to my desktop. I already have it right here as LSPDFR. So then I have to go into Sony Vegas where my footage and game audio is already imported, and then add an audio track for my voice. So then I find the file. There it is. So now what I have to do is I have to sync the audio, because obviously if I put it over here, my intro right about here. What is up, guys? It's not in sync. This isn't the beginning of the video, duh. So usually what I do is I play a song so it gets recorded within the game audio, and then I sing along to it. So that way, I know it sounds funny, but it works all the time. It's the way I do it. So that way I know where where the audio belongs. Okay guys, well, I found where my singing matches the song, if you can call it singing. But it's going to make you cringe, but whatever. On a matches, and magic happens on a matches too. So yeah, that was ASAP Ferg, 10 Mattress Remix or whatever it's called. So yeah, I just, any song, and I sing along to it. That way I know where the audio is supposed to go. Makes me cringe sometimes, but it makes me cringe even more now that you guys are listening to it. So sometimes I have a few intros that I mess up on. Welcome back to another Yep, see, I messed up right there. So I usually know where my official intro starts, because these are just sections here where I start and stop, but right here it continues going. So that's how I know that the intro was successful. So I cut it right at the intro and delete the previous stuff because I don't need it. And in this video, as you can see, there were some pauses here because I forgot how to commentate. See what's going on. Maybe I'll do another traffic stop. See, that happens a lot. If you see a transition, that's probably why, because I forgot how to speak. So what I do is I just split it where it stops. Yeah. Okay. We're just gonna use this. This isn't going to be an official like edited video that I'm gonna render and upload. It's already rendering and uploading right here. So I'm just gonna show you guys what I do. So I stop talking there. Don't want to continue there. So I find the part where I want it to continue. I split it. Delete what's in the middle. Bring it together. And I have to select both this. These two are paired together. Okay, but this is independent. See, it moves freely. So what I can do is select all three of them and go to group and create new. So it'll create a new group and everything will move together. So I don't have to worry about it, becoming out of sync. So I just usually fade them together like so, maybe like 0.2, and it creates a nice transition. You can't see it because if we go down to draft full, you guys might be able to see it. Okay. No, there's just too much going on here with the rendering in the background. But nonetheless, so, sometimes I have to make edits to videos because, I forget how to commentate or whatever. If nothing interesting is happening, I'll cut that part out and skip to an interesting part. All right, guys. So after that, I find an interesting part of the video that I want to put at the beginning to capture people's attention. So this might not be interesting, but I'm just using it as an example. So what I do is highlight the area that I want to copy, Control C, go to the beginning and make sure I have the top track selected and paste. So here's the interesting part of the video that I want to use, and I add a little fade in of like, let's say 0.2 and 0.2, just around there. It doesn't have to be perfect. So this is the beginning that is supposed to grab the viewer's attention. Sometimes it's hard to find a part or hard to choose a part that works best. But after that, I add another video track above this track here, or these tracks, I should say. And then I open up my little overlay that I use as an intro. So where is it? It's just called longer, apparently. Okay, so this is the animation where the line comes out, my name, the line split, and my name appears, and then it closes back on my name. So as you can see, it's black. You can't see the video underneath. So I have to go to properties. I always disable resample on everything, not just the intro, but all the video tracks. Then I have to go to media. There we go. Set the alpha channel to pre-multiplied dirty, and set this, just make sure it's set all the way down to the transparent setting. So now you can see the video underneath, or you can see the game footage underneath my intro. So that's done, that's finished. So after that, I bring the rest of the footage together. So I bring this up and I just connect it. So sometimes there is a problem with the footage where I can have this here. I can fade in on this video, but I can't fade in on the other video. So I have to separate it just a little bit. So then I put the fade back to 0.2. And I do it on this part as well. So that way when it's transitioning, it's a nice little fade to black and then fade into the video. So there's that. And then sometimes I like to add a song. So I'll add another audio track. And this is the song I've been using lately. It's called Deep Inside You by Mario something. So then I find this is the drop right here. It's kind of loud if I keep it up there. Start this video off. So I want that to match up right here where the intro of the video starts. So I drag it, the drop, I wouldn't call it a drop, but the interesting part of the song starts right there. So I just want it to be where my intro is. So you can see right here. Loud. What is up, guys? Welcome back. And obviously I need to quiet that down. Sometimes what I have to do is I have to insert a volume envelope, envelope. There, okay, envelope. And I have to create a few points, and then I have to, let's say, this is fine over here because it's quiet, but then it gets loud, so I have to quiet this down. What is up, guys? What is up, guys? There we go. But then I'll show you guys that this needs to change for the outro as well. So I have my outro saved in a template. I have it in properly faded audio. I just name my stuff random stuff. It doesn't make any sense sometimes. But I open this up because it has, my templates or my outro in it, so I don't have to edit anything. It's already there. So I'll show you guys that as soon as it loads. Ignore. So this is where my intro is, my old one that I used to use. This one I don't use anymore. So this is my current one. So I just copy the video and the audio files, copy them, and then I go to the video that I'm editing and paste. So as you can see, it's not lined up. I have to line it up myself. And this isn't actually the outro. Let me move this down a little bit. There we go. So just pair that up. So as you can see, this is the quiet part of the music starting before the outro begins. You can hear it in the background. Thank you guys for watching, as I said, and as always. So you hear the music's a little quiet, and that's because this volume envelope, I'm having trouble saying that word. The volume envelope is still applied, so I have to bring it back up to 0 decibels so it's not being affected by watching, that. As I said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. So that is a little bit loud. You can adjust this, the gain bar on the audio. Watching, as I said, in the next one. So that's about right. So once it sounds good and it's not too loud, once it fades to the outro or jumps to the outro, add a little fade at the end so it doesn't just cut off. I add it to the audio and the video as well. So one thing I make sure to do is select all the video tracks and disable resample. Resample adds this weird look. I can't really describe it. It's like kind of a ghosting look. I hate it. I really do. I always make sure to turn that off. That's a good tip for you guys. If you ever edit videos, turn off the resample, please. Okay, so everything's looking good. So the last thing I have to do is the comments. So I actually have a template in After Effects for that. And I'll show you guys how that is done in a minute. Okay guys, so here is the comments template. This is the little bar at the bottom that features comments. I made this in After Effects. And as you can see, the comments are missing because I have to find new comments every time I make a video. So I just go to my last video. In this case, it's my last LSPDFR video because that's what we're making here. If it was a DOJ video, I'd go back to my last DOJ video. So I use this little neat thing called Giazzo, and it allows you to take a screenshot of whatever you want. So this comment here will be featured in the next video, but I've already taken a screenshot of it. So takes a screenshot, loads up the page here, and then I save the picture to my desktop. So I do generally 3 comments, and once I have them, I go to replace footage, file, and then I find the comments on my desktop. So there's one. As you can see, it's a little bit too big. Sometimes I have to resize them. So I just go into the settings here and scale it down a little bit, make sure it's center. And then I just do that for the other 2 comments as well. And then I have to render the composition. So add it to the render queue. I have to make sure to set this to, instead of being 30 seconds, 16 seconds, because that's when the whole animation stops. There's no point in rendering the rest because there's nothing there. So 16 seconds is as long as it has to be at 60 FPS. Okay. We set it to lossless so it won't lose any quality. And I set it to RGB plus alpha because if you set it to just RGB, this will probably be white or black, and you won't be able to overlay it on top of your video because then it'll just be a black screen and the comments. When you set it to RGB plus alpha and you go into the properties in Sony Vegas as well, like I did for the intro overlay, it'll make it so it'll overlay the video and it won't have like a black screen or black or white screen, whatever color, filling in the rest of the frame. So after that's done, I just name it, put it on my desktop, name it whatever. As you can see, I already have one right here. And for 16 seconds, if you set it to lossless quality, it's pretty large. As you can see, it's 7 gigs, but no problem. So it's already rendered and I have it. So once it's done rendering, I open it up and find comments. There it is. So as you can see, if I don't set it to RGB plus alpha, it'll have this, and you won't be able to see the gameplay. So I go to properties, disable resample. That is a must. Set the alpha channel to pre-multiplied dirty, and just make sure that the alpha is 0.0. And there you go. You can see the game underneath the comments, or behind, I should say. So that's pretty much it for the editing, as far as the editing goes. I know for this I brought down the audio, as you can see in this the part that's rendering here. I brought it all down. I think it was -4 decibels because it was still a little bit too loud. You can either do it here for individual clips, or you can just do it in the master volume slider for the whole track. Set it to -4. You know, I don't want my voice to be too loud compared to the game volume. And also for the intro music, I don't let it go for the full song. I know I'm skipping around here, guys, but you know, this is how I edit. So I'm just showing you guys raw how it's done. I look around, see if there's anything I missed, but I usually fade it out, you know, a reasonable time into the video. It's not, I don't have like a set amount of time I let the song play. But after that, I select everything, and then I go to render as, and I have this template here that I use. If you guys use Sony Vegas, you can take a look at it there real quick if you want to use my settings. I'll switch through all of them for you. Make sure video rendering quality is set to best. So yeah, after that, just click OK and I render it. So as you can see, it's already rendering here. Sometimes, you know, there's other things I have to do in editing, but that's pretty much every LSPDFR video that I do. That's how it's edited. It's all pretty similar. Usually there's not a whole lot of extra stuff I have to do. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you how I make my thumbnails. Usually I just turn on my lights in the car, go to somewhere nice, press F1, record for a little bit, go into the Rockstar editor, and I take a picture using the Steam screenshot button, F12, and then it's saved on my computer. But for this video, there was a motorcycle pursuit. So what I did was, after I was done recording, I forced a pursuit with a motorcyclist and recorded it with the you know, the Rockstar recorder, and then went into the video editor and took some screenshots at nice cinematic angles. So here it is on my hard drive. I drag it over into Photoshop. I'll show you guys. You don't have to use, you know, you don't have to go to File Open. You can just find where it's located on your hard drive and then drag it over like so. So it'll open up in Camera Raw. So this is what I use mostly to edit how it looks. So I'll usually just do auto, see what it looks like. Okay, I don't like that. It's too dark. So I'll make some manual adjustments to it here. I like to make it nice and bright, but not too bright. Just little adjustments. Add some contrast to make it pop. If the darks are a little bit too dark, I brighten them up. But you know, you run into some problems here. You can see that there's some grain. You got to be careful with messing with this, because if you go too far, it'll look bad. And of course, I always add some vibrance, make the colors pop out a little more. And clarity, sometimes I do it. It adds kind of a dramatic look, but I guess we'll go with 20. Then I go over to the detail tab. I sharpen it, set the amount of sharpening to 25, and also do 15 noise reduction on the luminance and the color, and it will get rid of some of that noise that you can see. So after that, I open the image, and I already have the crop tool selected, and then I just crop it down. I crop it so you know you can't see this stuff. Sometimes I'll angle it a little bit, but yeah, crop it down so it's, you know, so the image is full of action and you don't have a bunch of extra stuff around it. So it's being kind of laggy because I'm rendering. I apologize about that. That's a little bit too much. There we go. That should be good. So then I press enter. There we go. So then I set the image size to 1920 by 1080, and I'll tell you guys why in a second. So then I open up my my thumbnail template, which is right here. I'm sorry, I'm very disorganized. Well, I know where the stuff is, but it might look disorganized, but I know where I'm going. So here's my thumbnail corner and the LSPDFR thumb. So I open those both up, and I duplicate this layer. As you can see, here's my logo. I duplicate it over to the photo, and there it is. Now the reason I set this to 1920 by 1080 is because if it's a smaller resolution, this will be huge on the image. If let's say the image was this big and you put the logo in there, it would be way too big. It needs to be the same in every thumbnail, and it needs to be consistent. So as long as I set the image to 1920 by 1080, this will be the same size because this is a 1920 by 1080 template. So there's that, and I also have the text here. Sometimes I add this, sometimes I don't. I'm still trying to decide what's best. There it is, down in the corner. Zoom out, make sure it looks good on a small scale. I don't like how it's cutting off the wheel of the bike, but it will do. And then I just save it as a JPEG on my desktop. I'm just gonna call it thumb. And there we go. Thumbnail is made. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please let me know in the comments. And I'm glad I got to show you guys how I edit my videos and my thumbnails and whatnot. I think it's interesting. Some of you guys might find it interesting. So thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.